All right, guys. So we got that bounce from below the $30,000 level, and it's definitely a decent bounce at this point. It's exactly what the market needed. Now, we've talked about it a lot that this was the most important factor, and to be buying down below the $30,000 level here, where the high volume was, and also down. Well, it was actually was a double bottom. It's basically a double bottom of here. Yeah, this is a slightly higher high, higher low. Sorry. So it definitely gave a nice bounce. Now again, it played out as well as it probably should have. The high volume node there, the stop hunt, the high volume node here on the 3-day chart, and then the stop hunt. There's a lot of orders down in there, and again on the the weekly, and the stop hunt on a weekly stop hunt. So it was almost a stop hunt on every time frame. This is the 2-week stop hunt, and then on the high volume node. That's the 6 month. I'll get to the 6 month in a minute, and I just want to look at the monthly stop hunt here as well, and a pretty high volume. So at this point, we have come down, and we've basically come into the golden pocket. Right, we're down into a golden pocket retrace of the entire bull run. Now, there's nothing bearish at all in theory about getting a retrace into the 50%. Or into the golden pocket, I should say. That's technically not bearish. Of course, it could keep going, but it's into an important level here. Now, just out of curiosity, if you remember back here, well, that is down at $32. I mean, that's pretty close to the lows, and you can see, the golden pocket here. At least on this, well, look how important the golden pocket was for years to come. But we're more looking at the golden pocket here. You can see that after this first monthly rejection, price dropped right through that. Technically, that is a lot more bearish. And then we started closing below the 61.8%. And then we never really held within that. We're kind of below it the whole time, and you can see we rolled over. Now, if you actually look at it, and structurally, just what we just looked at, price is actually holding a lot better and actually holding a lot stronger. Okay, so that's important to note, right? We are at this point, at least, we are holding very nicely at the 61%. We didn't quite hit it there, but it's pretty close. We're holding in the golden pocket, and it looks to be holding better than we held when the last bull run, well, turned into bear market. So I think this is an important overlooked factor at this point, and definitely should be taken into consideration. Now, if we look, let's go to 6 month. Well, we'll go to the yearly. Somebody mentioned in the chat yesterday that we flip red on the year, but the yearly open, I mean, that was the buy signal, probably. It did not hold. Obviously, we're back to being green. So it's extremely interesting here. It's very important that the yearly open held. Now the important thing is that it's held. How much of a bounce can we flip? Now we know if we're green on a new month, then we need to be getting long and see where this market can actually take us, and see if we can push higher. Like Link formed something like this, and linked on this. Link just absolutely exploded up through this. So can Bitcoin do the same? Things are getting very interesting here. What it would need to do is it would need to be strong, and it would need to form a 3 inside up pattern in order to really push higher. Now, is it okay to form a small candle? Probably not as good, right? You want markets to really prove themselves. I wonder, do we have any examples here? Let me go to a monthly. There might be a better example. this is actually a very good example. Like I remember this. I remember right here, and everybody was calling for the death of Bitcoin, and everybody says that's it. The bull runs over. Sell all your stuff. Sell everything. Run for the hills. All the rest, because this was a really bad bearish candle at that point in time, and from the highs to the lows, well, that was a 32% drop, but it formed a really bad bearish monthly candle, and you know, and people were freaking out. So it's a little bit like, and then you can see, you know, the lows were tested. I don't know if that was a stop hunt or not, but the lows were tested, and then you can see we pushed up, and once a market proved itself, you can see right here the market created a bullish engulfing candle of a bearish candle, and that's a failed move, right? That's a failed move, and failed moves creates fast moves in the opposite direction. And you can see from this exact point is when the market absolutely exploded into really powerful bull market territory. So failed moves create fast moves in the market, and that's a very important thing that people need to understand and need to have in their tool belt, in their trading tool belt, in investment tool belt. Now we are in that situation. We are in the situation where Bitcoin needs to create a failed move, because this is bearish. There's no question about that. It's bearish. So price should go lower here. You know, in theory, the same thing should happen as what we did there. This was not a failed move, right? This reacted perfectly to the bearish engulfing candle. We had a bounce and a retrace of, I suppose you could do it off there into the 38% of there, and you could even take that from the highs. Some people like to take it from the highs, and you can see it was bounced into 23%. You know, and that is a bearish retrace, and from there we rejected, and from there it was a matter of time before we rolled over. Now, so Bitcoin, at this point in time, we are in a very similar circumstances, right? Bitcoin needs to form a bearish, it needs to create a failed move in this bearish pattern. So if we are going to be bearish, right? If it is bearish, then we can think that the minimum price that Bitcoin is going to bounce to is here, right? That's your first line in the sand, and the second line in the sand where Bitcoin should move to is here, right? If we're truly bearish, if we are going to be pathetic and weak and crap, and Bitcoin's going to roll over and die into a bear market like we did last time, this is the 2 points in the sand where Bitcoin should bounce to. Now, that's you can see how pathetic that might actually be. Now, the second one would be almost a stop hunt of this level. Okay, so this is on a new 6-month candle, by the way, I'm talking about. Now, we need to see where we're going to close at the end of the month, but on a new, if we are going to be bearish, you know, this is likely to be the maximum area where Bitcoin's going to go, and then roll over down to whatever. I'm just 20 grand. That's if we are bearish. Now, if we are bullish, well, we need to create a failed move. Okay, so we need to, let's just zoom back in here. You know, if trading liquidity next month, trading for that bounce, you know, these are the two safe options where we will bounce to. Right? If you have bought Bitcoin right now and you're in Bitcoin, you know, you can probably hold that, and then if it's on spot at least, you know, and then you could sell it in a bounce into here or into here, right? If we are truly bearish, you know, and those levels, just for reference, I can just put that on the chart because you can see it on the side. Then, you know, this is if we are going to be truly bearish. The first point is 37.4, and the second point would be 42.5 roughly. That is the bearish place. That's where Bitcoin will reject if we are bearish, and where potentially, you know, people need to be getting out of maybe bad positions, or maybe they want to hold longer if we start to reject from these areas. Now, if we are bullish, what we need is that failed move that I talked about. right? We need that to be strong. We need that to hold. We need to show strength. We need to show power. We need to show the sellers are weak. We need to show the buyers are strong. And we will probably need volume, okay, to continue to push this higher, to get out of this. And also we need pattern, okay? We will need a decent pattern. Now, in my view, I would think that, you know, we would have to hold up really well, and we would need to come down, and we would need to get above this and move up. Now, on top of that, what we need to see from the bulls is we need to break above this trend line. So price needs to probably break back up into the range and hold and show the bulls are strong. And if we break this trend line, it's probably all over. Bitcoin's probably going to have a failed move. So this is my thoughts and my strategy. Well, you know, it's a strategy that I will be watching, and it's my main kind of thoughts behind the Bitcoin market at the moment. And of course, the Bitcoin market will determine how the rest of the market moves. Now, 11 minutes for this video. It's very long, but I didn't get on this morning. Something came up and I had to just sort it out. So I didn't bloody get on, and the market was had a nice bounce today. But it's no big deal in my view, because well, the 3-day. So we'll look at the short-term view here at the moment. The 3-day is still red, and will probably still be red. Now the thing is, with a 3-day red like this, there is likely to be, if we're going to be truly strong and keep going, there is likely to be some sort of dip back into here at least. So it will be important to trade a new 3-day candle. The market has now tipped its hat and tipped its hand, or whatever you want to call that, tipped its hat to show that it potentially wants to bounce from this level and maybe bounce up into, take that liquidity in the new 3-month and bounce up into this area. Is Bitcoin likely to flip red on the year at this point? It's not likely after showing the buyers and showing good strength from this area. You know, if we bounce, say we have 7 days left, and for example, say if we bounce back up to this point, say if we had a good 3-day candle, and then the month closed and we closed up here. Let me just delete that. Let me use this trend line. Say if we had a good 3-day candle and we bounce back up into the range, up into here, right? If I take you to a 6-month candle, right? The candle closing up here is looking a lot better than when it was down here. It's actually got a bit of substance to that, and builds upon that, or gives a bit of a foundation of a body here that we could build upon and actually push higher. So what I'm saying is the close price here is important. We don't want to close too low. It's better if we close a little bit higher. Better for the bulls, that is. And that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing the market, and we're seeing the bulls react to this, and the bulls are trying to close this strong on the 6th month. So anyway, that's it for the video, guys. I need to cut it off, 13 minutes. But so the new 3-day candle will be very important, and the way this closes in the next 7 days. Bitcoin is certainly not out of the woods yet, but I don't see this flipping green today. I think it will be good to trade a new 3-day candle.